Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Radio Free Gastonia, the internet's number one and only source for just more or less suitable, semi-ethical historical content. So I'm your host, Alex. A lot of stuff has been going on. I saw that Trump talked about Pete Buttigieg and his husband, and a very Trumpian thing of like, he starts out on a tirade that's going to be like very mean and right wing, but then like some switch turns in his mind. He's like, "Oh yeah, but I'll say they have a nice relationship." It's like I'm just making fun of him for riding a bike. Um, I've been watching The Righteous Gemstones as well, and it's a King Lear succession, family drama, like family conflict. I mean, that's obviously very silly and goofy, but like, I think it actually gets a little bit serious. I mean, there's some depth of emotion, especially where Eli Gemstone is concerned. Um, but like, it the narrative is almost always propelled by just the idiotic decisions that these children make, adult children, um, and I feel like it seems it seems very true, and I felt like for most of my adult life that like you never get away from middle school, like the same kind of rivalries and pettiness and like just fixations on things that don't matter and clicks, and you can find that in any white collar office building in the United States or probably in the entire world. We're still doing just, I mean, the characters in the Righteous Gemstones literally act like petulant 10-year-olds, in the way that like kids can be mean to each other, that adults are not supposed to, but just dumb, like cruel, like meanness. So I feel like I don't know, it doesn't strike me as being very unrealistic. Um, anyway, so what I've been thinking about is people's kind of built-in assumptions about the world. I was thinking about sort of how, like, if you have an opinion, does it ever change? Do you get locked into your views? I think that I've changed my opinion on some things over time because I had more, evidence and heard good arguments in favor of the other side. Um, but there's some things I'm never, absolutely never going to change on. Abortion rights. No, non-negotiable. Like, this is foundational, and I'm not going to put up with it. I'm not even going to entertain the arguments. Maybe that makes me close-minded, but I know where I stand. If you're in the middle of the Spanish fucking Civil War, you probably should like decide which one of those sides you're on, and I know what I'm on. The other thing is Israel and Palestine. I've not talked about this very much over the years. I'm not an expert on Middle Eastern history, so I guess in some ways I didn't feel like it was my place. But like, I also recognize that there's a professional and career risk involved in engaging with this. I've been very heartened to see that so many, and not just young people, but a lot of young people. I mean, there's tons of people from every background, every age group who've read the fucking news and see children starving and think, I think that's bad. But yeah, just the kind of a swelling of support among young people for the Palestinian cause, for the rights of Palestinians. I found quite breathtaking and shocking. I didn't really know if anything like this was ever going to happen in the United States. So I kind of held my breath. Not held my breath. I just kept my mouth shut, which is cowardly. But I'm thinking about this, and once you get older, you start to get set in your ways, and we all know that younger people might be more malleable. Older people will stick to a belief, no matter how many times it's been refuted, just because it's so core to their identity. I don't ever want to be one of those people. I don't want to be someone who my entire personhood and beingness is contingent on believing something about I don't know, like tax reform or something. I don't know, or a view of human nature, or being a Calvinist, or I feel like I'm pretty open to new information, and I want to continue to be that way. But once as you get older, it does kind of calcify in some ways. I'm not. I mean, I'm in the middle of my life, hopefully, but I feel like I could be at risk of just hardening my views into things that um, aren't responsive to a new information or reality or changes in the situation. I say all this, I'm getting somewhere, I promise. Um, but if there was any belief that I have about the world whatsoever, is that the rights of the Palestinian people have to be honored and fulfilled. Um, I don't know when I started reading about it. It was probably the mid to late 90s. I I mean, I'm not trying to do all the hipster thing, like, oh, I knew about it. And I'm just like, when you're a 14-year-old girl, when you're reading about just these horrible things that are happening in the West Bank and Gaza and the Golan Heights, it's pretty hard not to just, I mean, unless you have an extremely strong bias for some reason in the other direction, to say, this sucks. That's what my students now are like. They're like 21-year-old. They're like, they don't know the Cold War. They don't know anything about all that shit. They're just like, wow, they're like starving people to death. Wow, that doesn't sound cool. I don't think there's any argument you can make to me that would justify it. And so that's the way I feel about Palestine. Um, there is no force on earth that could make me change the way I've felt about this for the last almost 30 years, which is to be 1,000% in favor of the Palestinians. I mean, I don't know what's the right outcome, but no one's ever going to change that, unless it was the way that Winston Groom is sort of tortured and beaten into submission in 1984. They broke all of his teeth. They broke all his fingers. Maybe then I might become a Likudnik, but I don't. I hope that this happens. Actually, it might be possible. I might be manifesting this in the world. So I bring that up just because I was thinking about some other things, and I have debates with people I know who are friends, who are artists, historians, journalists, just followers of politics, and we've quite a bit conflicted over the topic of AI and also crypto. But I think more and more people are beginning to realize that crypto is an absolute scam. I just think that an incredible psyop has been done on the people of the United States and the world broadly speaking by OpenAI and Grok and Google and all these people. They're not people. Um, they've managed to. It just feels a lot like in like Tom Sawyer, where like he gets the other kids to like whitewash the fence for him. It A lot of the AI hype feels a lot like that. And so I'm, pushing back on this a lot of the time when it comes up with, people I know or friends or just, random conversation. I feel pretty strongly about this. Um, it's not the most important issue in the world to me, but like, I think all this generative AI, blah, 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 like, is dystopian and depressing for sure. The idea that people can just like push 4 buttons and then they make a new song and they say, "Oh, I'm a songwriter. I'm a composer," just to create some like hideous Huey Lewis in the News AI slop. But it's not just that it's insidious. It's much more that it's not as dangerous as people think. They've done such a great job of telling everyone to be totally afraid of this. It's a big song and dance act, Dog and Pony show. What kind of company, Sam Altman, goes around telling everybody that the product and the service that they're providing is literally going to destroy the entire world and the human race? Did somebody say about about the Toyota Camry when it first came out? No. They're fucking with people. They're doing theatrics. We've seen that AI is quite limited in what it can do, and what it can do is sometimes very funny and surprising. It's a black box, and you never know what's going to come out of it. But I think we've kind of seen in at least 2024, 2025, that there are serious limitations to this. I, of course, always view this as a union busting strategy, an anti-worker strategy. They want everyone to be afraid. They want people to not just be desperately clinging to their jobs because, like, well, we're basically AI. We got Waymo. This is what they do. They want to disempower and scare and intimidate and threaten people. The big guys, the Andreessens, the big Conehead, Eggman, and Altman, and all the little goblins. They want people to be scared, and we're fools if we go along with it. So, I mean, that's kind of how I feel about that. I don't know. It's not really a popular point of view because I think that I've been told in the past that like I'm out of touch. I'm living in the past, but have you seen AI art? Have you seen AI writing? Have you heard AI music? It just reminds me of the film Whiplash. I think Damien Chazelle. Yeah, he was like this was his big breakout thing. But it had like J.K. Simmons and Miles Teller in it. It's about jazz and like a young man who wants to like become the best jazz drummer and go to what's the school? Juilliard. And I remember reading a review of the film, which is a movie I really liked a lot, to be honest. A critical review of the film said, Whiplash doesn't just misunderstand jazz, it misunderstands life on Earth. Which is a pretty great line. I mean, pretty sweeping existential thing to say. But I think about that every time I see all this AI shit. It's like, do you want to listen to, I don't know, John Lennon or Nina Simone, or do you want to listen to bleep, bleep, bleep that's been created by some random AI algorithm? Nobody wants that. I mean, what are we doing here? Like, it's just, I think that the AI future that we're being told about is actually premised on the idea that people are stupid. So the stupid hogs will eat slop. So we can just have AI create slop. Um, I know that a lot of people don't share my opinions, and um, I know a lot of people probably haven't had the educational opportunities that ideally they would have. But I'm not willing to say everyone's stupid. It's just so fucking. It's a really bad thing on like the left to like think like that. People want to see something real, like, and I'm not in show business, but like, uh, sort of a cookie cutter MIDI file style AI ditty that gets spat out by Grok. It's not going to be anybody's like wedding song. It's not going to be anybody's favorite song. It's just more crap, and we have enough crap as it is. So I really, I guess this is where I come back to the original theme, which is like, am I just being an old crank by like pushing back on this? Am I too stuck in my ways? Am I just digging in my heels? I hope not. I hope I'm right. And if I'm not right, I hope I'd be willing to acknowledge that that it didn't turn out the way that I expected or anticipated or told people. For the moment, though, AI is a big little bee in my bonnet, and we will see where it goes. I would say the last year or two of news is pretty not optimistic in terms of like the success of the incredible robots that we're all supposed to worship. Maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong about almost everything my entire life. So, anyway, this is Radio Free Estonia, and we love you, and we'll be back next time. All right, bye.